Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Jake, and today we're going to do a video on one of the competitions I did a couple weeks back in a Class 2 truck, and I'm going to critique it. We're going to watch the video together, and I'm going to provide some feedback, what I did good, and maybe some other tidbits that might help you along the way. I know reviewing the footage always helps me, and it showcases some of the things that you don't think about in the moment. With that being said, huge shout out to Chaz for recording the run. I really appreciate it. The first thing I'm going to go over before we start the run is we're going to talk about the truck itself. So this is the truck in the video. It is a Vanquish VRD Carbon. It has the brazen scale frontline chassis. They have two chassis for the VRD, a frontline and a hardline. I think the hardline keeps the stock VRD geometry, and the front line actually moves the skid forward, I think 28, maybe between 20 and 28 millimeters. I'm not sure exactly. The hard line retains all of the stock links and drive shafts, whereas the front line pushes everything forward, and so you have to get different links, such as these from Hardcore RC, and you have to get different drive shafts, such as these cut-to-length drive shafts from Amazon. Now, you can also get drive shafts from Deluxe, as well as the transmission, and you can make your own links. Just note that the hardcore links probably will take a lot longer than you anticipate, so you'll want to order them sooner than later if you plan on going that route. Some other tidbits about the truck: it has 2660 Traxxas shocks in the rear, 90mm Desert Lizard shocks in the front. It has a cheap Amazon gearbox that was like 20 bucks, and it works just fine. I believe it's 80 grams, whereas if you were to get the $140 Deluxe Trans, though, it is open-faced, meaning the gears are exposed, and it's only, I believe, 30 grams, between 30 and 40 grams. I'm not sure exactly, but you do save some weight there. I'm using the Holmes Hobby 2040 kV revolver motor with a Rhino 80 amp ESC and a NSDRC 650 servo. As you can see, we are using the behind the axle servo mount. This is one from Amazon. I think they were like 12 bucks, and it works just fine. We are using the Vanquish aluminum housings with the aluminum knuckles and the Vanquish big brass outer portals. For the rear, we're also using the aluminum Vanquish housing with no weight. Now, in the video, we have different wheels and tires. We're using Vanquish wheels. That's basically the truck. Typically, it has a bed in the back. The Colts 3D link below has the beds that we made, put on there, and then we have a half cab for it. One of the other interesting things about the truck is we did develop this skid. So this is a one-piece skid. It is made for this 3-gear trans from Amazon, and the other thing that we added to it was the micro winch mount. So it's all one piece. You put it in there, the skid has the winch mount, the trans mount. It's all nice and tucked together. And then, as you can see, this one has had a lot of use, and there's really no issues with it. The skids are also available on Cuts 3D. If you do get it and print it, I would suggest using something like PETG, where water is not going to interfere with it. And then lastly, for the radio and receiver, we're using the FlySky Noble radio with the FGR4S receivers. These were really cheap when I bought them. I think I got 20 of them for $200. Nowadays, not so cheap. Unfortunate thing. So now that we've gone over the truck a little bit, we are actually using 3S on this truck. It is capable of 4S, but the 3S works just fine. Let's jump into the run. The first gate is not on video. It's a pretty easy gate. It's a V-notch. We progressed it with no issues. We're working on gate number 2 right now. I did set up this course. This course is really challenging. When I set it up around 8 in the morning, it was about 30 degrees outside, freezing cold. We did attempt to do this course with a completely different truck as to not cheat, and it seemed like it was doable. Now, as you can see from this footage, gate number 2 is posing to be a problem. And the main reason that it's posing to be a problem is because if you look at the 2 rocks on the bottom side right by the cone that says gate 2, there is a gap there. If that gap wasn't there, then the gate would be actually much more cheatable. But since your rear driver's tire falls into that hole, it makes it much more challenging to actually complete. You can see I'm extremely focused, trying not to hit the top gate. The rocks are very cold. It's still very cold. I volunteered to go first. I don't know why. I should have drawn a number like everyone else, but I did. And there goes the truck. We lost it, and we lost gate number 2. However, we didn't progress the gate, so we still have to go up and progress it. And that is not going to help the progress. So in hindsight here, what I should have done with gate 2 is I should have winched gate 2 immediately. We were finally able to progress there with a full throttle, bump through it. Moving on to gate number 3. Gate number 3 is a downhill, relatively easy. And we whiskey throttle through it to ensure that we're not going to hit another gate. Gate number 4, this is a more challenging gate as well. Looking at it, it would be relatively easy, but again, we have a huge gap between the driver rear tire, and it makes it much more challenging to complete the gate because you're essentially vertical trying to climb both the front and the rear at the same time. Now, hindsight's always 20/20. We should have immediately winched the gate. We didn't, and we sit here and try and hit this gate many different ways. We end up falling back on ourselves and taking a rollover, so that's another 5 points we didn't need. We should have taken the 3 points as a winch, as I stated previously. The truck wants to make the climb, but as I said, when you're trying to climb the front, the rear is trying to climb as well, and it just isn't working, especially with it being so cold. This is still relatively cold outside. I think it was maybe in the mid-40s by this point, but the rock was still very cold. Now, one other thing that I want to note here, the truck is actually running G8 crawlers in the rear and Predator crawlers in the front. And just like that, we took one of the gates for gate 4 and progressed it. Therefore, we just wasted 15 points when we could have wasted 3. Moving on to gate 5. Gate 5 was actually really challenging for a lot of people. And we do have 5 minutes and 13 seconds remaining. Gate 5 was really challenging for a lot of people. It is, I think what really helped here were the Predator compound tires in the front, helped get the grip because it was so cold outside, and then we were able to sustain that grip due to all of the weight in the front of the truck. Another hindsight, there's a bonus gate right there on the left. We should have hit that bonus. We did not hit the bonus, so we lost out on 10 points. Moving into gate number 6, it is a pretty steep downhill gate, and it's got a off-camber turn to it. So when I set up courses, I want to incorporate every aspect. I want to incorporate climbs, descents, side hills, off-camber turns, things like that, to make sure that it's fair for everyone. And we whiskey throttle through the downhill gate and hit one. Wasted 10 points there. Probably should have taken a little more time and been more methodical with that. Moving into gate 7, this is another really tricky one because not only on the ascent are you fighting both front and rear trying to climb, but there's also a overhang at the top. And as you can see, the rear gets sucked into it. And again, we probably should have winched this, but we didn't. And we took the gate and wasted 10 points. That was not a progress, so now we have to go back through it and try and progress the gate. Time is very precious, and we're wasting a lot of it here. The front is progress, so we're really just working to progress the rear, and that was a progress. Gate 8 I thought was going to be the hardest gate of the competition. It is doable, it is just very, very hard to do.
Tough gate here.
Are you sure?
The key to this gate is to go at the angle that I'm at and continue forward. However, once you make it through the gate with your front tires, the rear driver will hit the rock and start to move more towards the driver, and when it does, you need to shimmy the front so it moves it out even further, and you don't have to worry about the truck coming over on itself or coming over from the driver. We finally wisen up and remember we have a winch, and we utilize the winch. This eliminates us from wasting 10 more points and a bunch more time. This is where a lot of people struggled, was on this gate, because they would dump it, take the gate, and then they would still have to progress the gate because the rear never made it through. But as you can see with the winch, we were able to progress the gate just fine and have 0 issues. Moving into Gate 9, Gate 9 is another real steep downhill, as you can see here. I'm positioning myself to make sure that I don't hit either gate. And oh, by the way, on gate number 4, we lost the battery. It's not been tied down since gate 4. As you can see, it's kind of hanging out, or really it's hanging out now.
Finally fell out.
It did fall out, and so we've been really focused on trying not to lose the battery and also finishing the comp. Now, we would have had to take a 10-point penalty and do an on-course repair to restrap the battery, but at this point, we're already at gate 10, so we hit the gate, take the gate, and finish the course. Our score ended up being a plus 47 at the end of the run. We could have had a plus 37 had we hit the bonus gate. Again, hindsight's always 20/20. Some key things to take away from this run, and I apologize if you can hear the rain. It's been raining for the last 6 hours nonstop, and it's forecasted to rain a lot more, so I'm going to persevere and get through this video. We would have had a much better score. However, there were a couple of detrimental things. The first detrimental thing is that I volunteered to go first. You should probably never do that in a competition and draw numbers or allow your score judge, event holder, to pick or select who goes first, however that happens, because you never want to go first. You always want to go in the first part of the comp, because if there are instances or spots where there are dirt or sand or loose rock, if you wait till the middle or the middle to the last, or even the last to go, chances are all of that's going to be gone and your score is going to reflect that. So you're going to have to do more winching, you're potentially going to have more rollovers, gate hits, things of that nature. So you don't want to be number 1, but you also want to be within the first, I would say, quarter of the people to go to ensure that the course is going to remain the same or persist for you to go. Now, the reason that you want to allow some people to go in front of you is because they have different ideas than you do. People that go before you are going to show you the different lines that you could take and or mistakes that you don't want to make. The second tip is use your winch. You have it for a reason. It's 3 points, maybe 5 points. It's much cheaper than burning a bunch of time. It's much cheaper than hitting a gate, and it's much cheaper than doing mini reverses, rollovers, things of that nature. So use it. You have it, use it. If you don't have a winch, get one, because you will use it. The third thing, and I can't stress this enough, is drive your truck. You will never be good at competitions if all you do is competitions. Take your truck out and drive it in many different conditions. Go get some tennis balls, cut them in half, or print out some gates and go hit the gates, set them up. Make them very hard, make them very easy. Make them a variety of different things, and just enjoy the hobby. Don't make it all about the competition. Enjoy it. My final tip is to enjoy yourself. This is a hobby. This is not a job. This is not work. I mean, for some people it is, but if you're not one of those people, who cares if you win or lose? I certainly don't. I'm there to have a good time. I'm there to socialize with friends and other competitors and enjoy myself. Can't always be first. There's always going to be somebody better than you, and your luck may run out that day. Competitions are not 100% skill-based. They are part skill, part luck, part truck, part elements. I mean, there's so many different variables in it, it's very hard to control. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the run. We appreciate you making it this far. Huge shout out to all of the community. Special shout out to all the TABO club members. We really appreciate you guys joining the TABO club. And as always, we hope you have a great day.